Hey everybody, it's Rory from ANS Gear, and I've got something that everybody's been waiting for to finally roll in. They put these out, or they teased these, gosh, almost over a year ago, these mechanical CS2 frames. But they are here. These CS2 frames will fit the standard CS2 or the CS2 Pro. Doesn't matter, it'll go on either one. I brought up a CS2 right here. This is a Light Trooper CS2. And we're gonna put this frame on it. So this is the mechanical frame again. So if you're looking for mech play, you've already got a CS2 and you wanna be able to play in those mech tournaments, things like that, it's a great choice for you right here. So inside the box, you're gonna get a parts kit, and it is very basic parts kit. You'll see why it's so basic when we open this thing up, because there's really not much in it. You got in here a couple 003 O-rings, an 8x1 O-ring, some extra screws, and then your transfer gasket seals that go between. So that's it. That's all that's in here. Because again, not much else. You also are going to get your frame, which is right here, and a replacement grip. So this grip is going to replace the back grip right here that has the window and the buttons, because now that you got a mechanical frame, you don't need a window or buttons anymore. I guess you could leave it on there if you like the windows and the buttons. You don't need to use it. So, whatever, it's up to you. I don't even know if you can. I'm just throwing that out there. So we've got this manual on-off safety right here. When the safety's on, you can't pull the trigger. When the safety's off, the trigger is able to be pulled. We have a spring right here which controls the tension on the trigger. So if we adjust this in the back here by bringing it out, we loosen the amount of tension on the spring. This will allow a softer trigger pull. We bring it in, you're gonna compress that spring down, make for a tougher trigger pull, or a stiffer trigger pull. As we can see, when we pull the trigger right here, it rocks this little cam right here, and this cam is then gonna push against the valve assembly inside here, causing the gun to activate and to shoot. Pretty simple setup. If you need to remove the valve out, it's very, very simple. We're going to take an Allen key, we're going to pop this out, and we're going to start on the small side. This little brass pin right here, this side is smaller than this side, so we're going to push from the small side, push the pin out, and at that point we can just lift the valve up and out right there. Very, very simple valve setup right here. If you remove these two screws, you can pull out most of the internals right here. Again, this comes off, this comes off, this sets off to the side, and then we can grab a hold of this and we can pull it out. Here's one of those 003 O-rings on the end of the stem right here. You can take that off there. You can see that little O-ring right there. Push our stem out. And there we are. We have another 003 O-ring right there. Here's our 1x8 or 8x1. Yeah, it's 8x1. Couldn't remember which way it was right there. And that's it. That's the valve right there. Inside this section, you can pop this little piece off right here. And then down inside there is our exhaust diaphragm inside there. So if you need to replace that, you can pull that out as well. They don't give you that part in your parts kit because it really should never go bad. But if it did, it's the same QEV diaphragm, I believe, that used to be in all of their QEVs. So that's what it looks like inside there as well. So, but again, that part isn't in the parts kit, so I don't imagine it ever going bad, and there's really no reason for you to ever take it out of there. But that's what's in there. Let's go ahead and put it back together. So we're going to take our pin. Be very, very careful with this if you do take it out, that you don't bend this. If this gets bent, it's not going to slide back and forth and your gun's not going to shoot. So be careful with this little pin. Be delicate with it. We're going to slide it back in there. Put that on there. Put our O-ring on the back side. And then we're going to push this back in to our housing. Just like that. Take our top, put it back on, and then tighten that down. So maintenance on this valve, very, very easy. Very simple. From here, we've got our gasket on the bottom, If you need to replace that, it does come in your parts bag. We're going to drop that back down in there. Put our pin back through. Whoop, don't drop it. And then just make sure that it pops all the way through and is flush on both sides. So it's seated inside there. Very, very simple. Now, what we need to do to put this on here is get this frame off. So we're going to remove the front grip. We're going to remove the rear grips. Then we're going to take this frame off of here. So we're going to take, not that Allen key, take this one and undo our 2 frame screws. So our front frame screw. We're going to lift up our bolt, slide our bolt out, and then do our rear frame screw. Once those are out, just separate that right away. We can set this off to the side for the time being, for the moment. We'll take our new one. And now at this point, you could either use the new upper gasket that comes with it, put it in here and put it on there. Or remove the gasket that's in the one you have and transfer it over to the other one. Either way. If you don't want to worry about that and you do a lot of flip-flopping between the 2 frame setups, just leave one in here and leave one in the other one. That way you can switch between and not have to worry about changing them out. Put our front in, close that down. There. And there. All right. So now we've got that on. It's all set up on here. If you want to, at this point, take your battery door out of there and stick it on there. All right. Now, last thing that we're going to do here, we need to take this ASA and regulator assembly off and put it onto here. So we're going to remove the bottom 2 ASA screws. And we're going to pull the internals out. Pop that off of there. Now what's going to stay inside here most of the time, pretty much all the time, is the piston. You can see it up inside of there. We want to grab that piston and pull it out. But you must be extremely careful that you are using some sort of tool that is not going to mark or damage the end of the piston. I have these rounded needle nose pliers right here, which allow me to put one needle or point inside the inner hole of the piston, and then this will be on the outside. It has no teeth, it has nothing on there. It is smooth, which is going to allow me to not mark that up. So I'm going to grab a hold of it, and I'm going to wiggle it and get it out like that. You don't want to mark up the outside of this in any way, the inside of it. You don't want to make any burrs on it. So be extremely careful when removing that piece out of there. I'm going to just kind of assemble this like this. Put you back over there. And then I'll just slide that right back in there. Put those back on. Go down to the bottom. Throw your Allen key on the floor or on your chair and tighten that up. Take our bolt, put in our bolt, take our front grip, put on our front grip, take our front section of our rear grip and put it on. And then take our new grips, which don't have the window on them, and put them on and lock it down. And there you go. that is how easy it is to set up the mechanical trigger on the brand new, I shouldn't say the brand new, I'll put the brand new mechanical trigger on the CS2 platform, whether it be a standard CS2 or a CS2 Pro. It'll work on either one. I've done some stuff already for shooting this outside for Instagram, so you can check those videos out. I'm sure we'll put something up on the YouTube page as well as shooting this, but they shoot super nice. They're easy to pull. Trigger is really light, depending on how you set it up. Even when you make it stiff, it's still light. So a great little thing here. If you've got a CS2 or you're thinking about picking up the mech frame for it, do it. It's a no-brainer. They're on the website. Make sure, well, I don't know when you're watching this video. If you're watching it right away, you better get on and pre-order right now. If it's months from now you're watching it, pick one up on the website. Check for availability. Get them before they're gone. Mech frames for the CS2 and CS2 Pro at ansgear.com.